Okay, so today we're going to talk about the Data Center Alliance's Anti-Contamination, Filtration and Cleaning Special Interest Group. So it'd be a good place to start, I guess, with just a little bit of background on, I think it's one of the more mature of those groups. So when it started and its sort of broad aims, objectives.
Sure, yeah. So the group was formed in circa 2013. And the ultimate aim of the group is to educate the data center market on contamination, what types of contamination there are, the impacts to IT equipment, physical contamination, gaseous contamination. And what the group does is it pulls in experts from across a wide variety of sectors, Phil. So we've got specialist cleaning companies involved in the SIG. We've got contamination, filtration experts who sit on the group, and it's really pulling on people's knowledge and expertise so that we can educate the whole IT market.
Okay, and I think the sort of headline bit of collateral, if you like, that you've achieved thus far, which I think you produce fairly regularly, is the anti-contamination guide. So can you, without clearly it's a substantial thing, but can you give us a sort of overview of what it contains, what it's designed to do?
Yeah, I think that there's lots of information available on the market, Bill, and you can search and search and search. And what we've tried to do is pull all this information into one guide. There's nothing else on the market which will give you the level of detail on how to control contamination in data centers. So the first sort of milestone that we achieved as a group really was the Anti-contamination guide, where a operator, owner, user can pick up the manual, and it will give them a real in-depth guide on how to keep their space clean and free from particulate matter. And that goes right from it looks at products, it looks at filtration, it looks at cleaning specifications, it looks at geographical location of data centers, it looks at foreign objects such as zinc whiskers. It's giving you guidance on frequency of cleaning, and it's been a real good document, and you know, we're all quite proud of what we've achieved with it.
And in terms of developing that, I think you've also produced I don't know whether you call it a supplement or appendix, but the risk register. What does that sort of add to the guide, or what's the difference?
The risk register. What we were trying to provide is some tangible evidence, because people can say that if you don't clean your data center, there's a risk of overheating, or there's a risk of intermittent errors. So that's fine. You can read it, Phil. You can see it on a sheet of paper. What we wanted to do was actually put some weighting behind that, to say that if you do not clean your data center for 12 months, this is the direct impact, this is the risk, and the risk register really highlights that, and it's a real eye opener inside the document.
Okay, and also another project, I think we're looking at what you've done as a go, and then we're going to have a look at what's on the roadmap. But you did a project as well carried out to do with the insurance industry and best practices. I'm guessing around the thing that if someone could prove that they were looking after their data center particularly well, they might get a lower premium. Was that the sort of basic objective, or what did you do?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So what we did, Phil, is we engaged with a broker and pitched the exact same idea as what you just said. We visited 4 data centres around the UK of varying sizes, of varying contamination levels, and we talked the broker through the best practices. We reverted back to the guide, and we went through, if you clean your data center regularly, you're going to prevent thermal clogging. Operators' warranties will be extended or not be jeopardized, should we say. And we pieced a package together with the broker to say that if you undertook data center cleaning on a regular basis with a reputable company, you could get lower insurance premiums.
Okay, and that was, I mean, is that something that's still ongoing as well? Is that available in the market to folks if they can demonstrate that?
Still ongoing. We had a call with a FM company last week who was extremely interested in the idea, and as a group, I think this year we're really going to have a second push at that.
Okay, and I'm thinking more generally, you presumably are looking to raise awareness of issues around contamination, filtration, cleaning. Do you, for example, give any sort of input to standard? I'm thinking the EU Code of Conduct maybe covers that. And maybe during the, I don't know, did the pandemic throw up certain scenarios where you were called upon for advice, or you issued some guidance to people operating in these conditions?
Yeah, definitely. Over the last 12 to 24 months, we put some real good thought pieces out. Information around COVID, extremely important. Our angle and view on it, Phil, was coming to it from a protecting the engineers side of things. The engineers throughout COVID obviously kept the lights on, for want of a better word. You know, these people were 24/7 frontline, keeping the data centers moving, and our information and guidance was around keeping these people safe. So regular cleaning, touch point cleaning, anywhere that's got sort of display units on, PDUs, AHUs, etc. You know, these needed more treatment, just to make sure that you know, engineer safety was paramount. We've done some pieces on selecting the right contractors, or cleaning contractors for data centers, so making sure they've got the right experience, the insurance, the knowledge, the health and safety aspects all stack up. So that was a real good thought piece. We've done a thought piece on what data center cleaning looks like in the future. So we've looked at refresh rates on IT equipment. You know, does that impact cleaning? Filters, keeping filters clean, or keeping the space clean to keep the filters clean, to drive down energy costs. So that was a well received thought piece. The EU Code of Conduct, which you've touched on, section 3.2.12, 2 years ago was a optional reference to air quality and monitoring to ISO Class A. Last year, Phil, that changed from a optional to a expected operation within the data center market. So a huge swing, something that we felt very strongly about, that we had to jump on and, you know, kind of shout that from the rooftops. So yeah, the last 12 12 months, definitely, we really pushed some really good information.
I think one of those you mentioned just there was around the energy efficiency. Clearly, sustainability in the data center, energy efficiency is a massive focus at the moment, and I'm sure ongoing. I'm right in thinking you're looking, or you're going to start a project that's going to, I'm not trying to sound skeptical, but attempt to establish a link between a clean data center and an energy efficient data center. Is that right?
Yeah. So the idea was conceived 18 months ago, and I think we'd be a bit further down the road than what we are now. But obviously, COVID came along and kind of stopped everything really around the world. Yeah, we had an idea about trying to prove what the actual pound cost saving would be to a data center if we selected a really dirty data center. We put it through an intense cleaning regime. We put the highest spec air filtration filters in there. We cleaned the IT racks down to a component level, and then run a set of results to see what the energy draw would be after could be 30, 60 days. And we were hoping to see some positive results on the back end of that. It would be a joint experiment with the energy efficiency group as well. And they're quite confident that we will see some real positive results. So at this minute, we're in talks with 2 universities, and we are just waiting for the green light to move on to the next stage. So fingers crossed, we potentially got a host for the experiment, and the universities will be sat writing the white papers, all the evidence that we need to really shout about this one. So yeah, I'm really excited about this one.
I guess being mischievous, was it that easy to find someone who would put their hand up and say, I've got a really dirty data center, or are you going to make it?
Really difficult,
yeah.
Really difficult. We probably had 10 conversations with different companies who didn't want to admit to sort of not keeping up best practices and things like that. So yeah, really difficult.
Again, on another piece of work I think you're looking at doing sort of in the near future is around contamination profile. Is it reports, or is that on each individual sort of identified piece of contamination, or what's that about?
Yeah, it's probably going to form its own document, Phil, and it's a bit more drilling down into the detail of what the contamination is. So the guide will say you must remove dirt at 6 monthly periods, and this document will tell you what the actual contaminant is, and what the effect it will have on the IT equipment. So we could be looking at carbon deposits, so what effect carbon has within the data center. We could be looking at what effect zinc whiskers have in the data center. We're looking at salt contamination from data centers that are based near the coast. Lime, so any sort of lime from exposed concrete inside a data center, and just giving people more information to say that contamination must be a top priority and it must be controlled within mission critical spaces.
And sort of more generally, I think you've worked in the industry for a fair few years. Are you able to sort of characterize, sort of from when you started to now, any differences, or hopefully some improvements you've noticed in the way that the data center sector treats contamination? I imagine when you started out, people were like, what's this all about? Are they now much more aware and open to what you're talking to them about, or do you find it still a bit frustrating? People are still maybe not as diligent as they could be.
I think first off, I think data center cleaning is nothing new. You know, people have been cleaning data centers for 30 years plus, and I started out on the tools, and 20 years ago, you would clean a data center, and the main driver of that process was the data center looks clean and it smells nice, and that was the main objective. I think that if you look now at ASHRAE's intervention on recommendations of air quality, you need to back up the findings, and you need evidence, and you need tangible evidence. So to be able now to justify those results, data center cleaning businesses and companies are using air particle count machines. So they will perform the clean. They will take a machine in, Phil, that samples 1 cubic meter of air. That will then tell you how many particles are in that cubic meter of air, which then gets referenced against the ISO standard. So that will tell you how clean your data center is. So yeah, times have moved on dramatically, from people just wanting a data center to look nice to actually people now wanting to remove particulate matter from their space, and the introduction of ISO 14644-1, which is widely used in clean rooms, but to bring that into the data center world was a correct thing to do.
You've referenced clean rooms now. I'm just wondering, do you think that the logical sort of end position of all this is that data centers, because I mean, at the moment, you know, I know I get invited to go to a data center, and you know, with certain restrictions, you can pretty much go anywhere, you know, without worrying. You don't have to, you know, dress up in any particular clothing or anything like that. Do you think at some stage people might realize that, you know, it's sufficiently important that data centers will be treated much more like a clean room environment when it comes to a sort of anti-contamination cleaning point of view?
Massively. I heard on the news 2 days ago that the government are planning to release driverless cars onto British roads and motorways as early as next year. Now, what that means for me is people's lives are going to be in charge or in the hands of a server that's inside a rack that's kept in a data center. And these spaces need to be free from any contaminant at all. I think it's a massive move in the market, and cleaning has got to be up there with any resilience of data centers, so loss of power, etc. Keeping the data centers free from anything that could cause any issue to that piece of equipment, Phil, is really got to be high up on anyone's agenda. And I think that if you look at data centers now, people are mainly interested in monitoring temperature and humidity constantly. I think that the next natural evolvement from that would be to have something that is monitoring air particulates in data centers constantly, a bit like clean rooms do. So you know, they're constantly monitoring this, and how it's currently done now is we talked about the particle machine, but it is a snapshot in time. You're taking a machine and you're taking a sample of air, and it is a snapshot in time. And once that's gone, you know, there could be contractors coming in, pulling fibre, cables, fire stopping, rack containment, anything that's then is adding to airborne particulates. So I think that the natural move for me next will be seeing some sort of permanent monitoring air quality solutions being used in data centers across the globe, really.
And just to finish up, are you aware of any, I mean, super efficient, well-run places where they kind of already do that as a matter of course, or will this be a sort of brand new, as you say at the moment, it's snapshots every 3 months, 6 months, but a permanent monitoring solution Is that a sort of an industry first or something?
We've so the business I currently work for, we've been closely developing some software over the last sort of 12 months, and we're just ready now to try and put it in as a test site really, and run some information. So yeah, hopefully we've got it right, Phil, and people will buy into it and follow suit, and really get the benefits from constant air quality monitoring instead of 6 monthly, 12 monthly, and really using the data.
That's brilliant. We've covered a lot of ground, and some really interesting sort of ideas for people to think about, discuss. So Gary, thanks very much indeed for your time.
Thank you.